Good evening, parents and students. Thank you for joining me for a Patio Chronicles style Friday's news flash. The weather feels great out here. I'm loving the fresh air I'm able to get. I hope everyone is able to stay inside or around their house as much as possible and stay as safe as possible. I wanted to focus on or briefly speak on a lot of the questions that I got from last week on the grading philosophy or the grading practices moving into quarter four. First, I want to address some of the frustration that parents are reaching out to me. They're frustrated because they're not either understanding the assignments. Make no mistake, it has nothing to do with your level of intelligence or education. Quite frankly, content standards have changed over the years and they're taught totally different. And so we understand it by no means is this you letting your student down. That's what I'm hearing from a lot of parents because they feel like they're not able to make sure they're doing all of the work. We completely understand. The teachers are simply providing assignments that will increase your students' exposure to the content that they'll need moving into next year if they are able to access that content. And being able, again, I've said this before, it doesn't mean just that you don't have the resources. Some people don't. They don't have enough computers or they don't have the resources. Some families have all of that, but they don't have the time because they're dealing with so many other things, and we totally understand. So if and when you receive an email updating you on your students' progress as far as if they have accessed any of the digital tools, I humbly ask that you don't take out any frustration out on the teacher. They're simply trying to keep you informed on what your student is doing and also see if there's any support that we can provide for you if you are in need of some resources in any capacity. So again, you may receive an email updating you on your student's progress. Don't take it personally. We understand the frustration. We're just trying to make sure that you are informed at what your student has or has not been doing. That transitions me again into the grading for quarter four. So I got a few questions. They were really, really good questions on the survey that I sent out or the link that I sent out on last week. So one thing that I want everyone to understand, your student's quarter four grade cannot be lower, their final average grade cannot be lower than their final average grade was in quarter three, which ended on March 13th. Now, that does not mean none of the quarter four grades can be lower than your quarter three average. Let me give you an example. So if your student had an 84 at the end of quarter three, his first assignment in quarter four, he or she may get a 78. That's fine. That is not lowering their quarter three grade. They will continue to be graded in quarter four to get a final quarter four average. And at that point, if it is lower than their quarter three average, their quarter four average will simply mirror what they had in quarter three. So if they had an 84% in quarter three, they cannot get a lower average at the end of all of the grades, a lower average than that 84 in quarter four. But again, the feedback needs to be accurate on the grades that your child is getting. So they may get some grades lower than the quarter three grade, but at the end of quarter four, their average will not be lower than quarter three. It's important to make the distinction that middle school is on a quarter system, not the semester system. If it was a semester system, I could see how that could be even more confusing. But understand, that brings me to my next point. A student cannot do anything to their quarter three grade at this point. Their quarter three grade on March 13th is cemented in stone. That is their quarter three grade. So when you read the language of they can improve that grade, that is correct as it pertains to quarter four, not for quarter three. So if your student got a 75 in quarter three, what that is saying is at the end of quarter four, they could have an 85. They could get a 95 for quarter 4. That does not adjust their quarter 3 grade, and the quarter 4 grade could not be lower. So if they had a quarter 3 final average of a 75, there's no way they could have a 74 for quarter 4. I hope that makes sense. Still, don't hesitate to reach out to me. If it does not, I've had a few inquiries about the high school courses that some of our 8th graders are taking as it pertains to the EOC. There's 2 differences for the high school classes. A, they will receive a numerical average. Now, the same still applies, that numerical average cannot be lower than what they had in quarter 3, but theirs will not end with a pass or fail. There is actually a numerical average. Now, as it pertains to what will replace the EOC, there is not a determination or decision made on that just yet. As soon as I find out, I will make sure to get that information out to you. Now, our 6th grade counselor is doing virtual tours for the rising 6th graders. So if by any chance you are coming to Leavengood as a 6th grader next year and you're watching this, stay tuned or pay attention. And also, if you know someone whose student is going to be a 6th grader on next year, if you could relay this information, it's all going to be in the email as well. But for Kemp and Steele, on Tuesday, April 21st at 11 o'clock, Ms. Dickerson will be hosting a live Zoom session, basically just explaining the transition from elementary school to middle school. And on next Thursday, the 23rd at 11 o'clock, Cheatham Hill and Dowell will have that same opportunity, and the Zoom link will be in the email that I send out. Our 7th grade counselor, Ms. Bauer, is bringing back Mindfulness Mondays. It will take place this coming up Monday at 2:30. That information will also be in the email on how to click in to that Zoom session. It's basically just an opportunity for students to relax their mind, take some of the burden off. It's open to all students, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Paper copies, if you are not able to access technology as it pertains to computers, paper copies of work are being distributed at the same points of contact from Must Ministries food distribution. And so that will also be in the email of those locations. I've had some people say, well, hey, they're not looking at this video if they don't have technology. Well, that's not quite true. Some people do have cell phones, but understand how uncomfortable that is to try to do a bunch of academic work out of your cell phone. And once again, the parent may have the cell phone, maybe the students don't, or what have you. So if you're interested in the paper copies, it will be at the same locations around the district that Must Ministries is delivering food, and more details will be in my email. On last week, our Newsella article winner was Miss Lorena Ocasio. I'm hoping to try to get a good picture or video interview with her, and I will show that on next Wednesday. And also I will announce our digital instructor of the week on next Wednesday. So you still have this weekend, Monday and Tuesday, to go ahead and cast your vote. Well, I know that was rather lengthy, but hey, I don't have anything but time out here right now. So I hope it's not too long, but I want everybody again to stay safe, stay positive, prioritize what is most important, and don't allow school business to add any frustration to your family, your student, or your household. So until next time, everybody, please have a great evening.